Last week at its peak performance event, Apple announced an updated iPad Air, and they sent one over for review along with all the accessories you'd need to take advantage of the device. The biggest question I've been getting from you guys is, how do I decide between the new iPad Air and the 11-inch iPad Pro? Well, let's talk about it. First, the unboxing. Right up front is the new iPad Air, and it looks like Apple sent me the new blue color. During the keynote, they specifically called this out as being really nice, so let's take a look. The new iPad Air has the same 10.9-inch liquid retina display with True Tone, which adjusts the white balance based on the environment that you're in to keep colors looking accurate. It also has the USB-C connector at the bottom as opposed to Lightning, and Touch ID is built into the power button since they removed the home button with the previous model. There's no Face ID here though. Then there's the iPad Air Smart Folio case in blue. This magnetically attaches to the iPad Air, protecting the front and back, and you can also fold up the front into a little triangle and then prop up the iPad so you're able to use it and look at it without having to hold it. They also included the second generation Apple Pencil here. As you probably know, this works on the iPad Pro, iPad Air, 2021 iPad mini, and sticks to the right side of the iPad magnetically, which is also how you charge it. And lastly, one of my favorite Apple accessories of any kind, the iPad Magic Keyboard. This gives you a keyboard and trackpad to use in iPad OS and gives it more of a laptop feel. Now the magic is in the fact that you can easily remove it when you want to use it like a tablet and stick it right back into the keyboard when you need it, just using those magnets. Okay, so what's changed with the new iPad Air? The biggest deal is that it's now rocking the Apple M1 chip. Yes, the same M1 you'll find in the MacBook Air, Mac Mini, 13-inch MacBook Pro, iMac, and iPad Pro. The M1 processor has an 8-core CPU that's up to 60% faster than the A14 Bionic processor that was found in the previous generation iPad Air, and it also has an 8-core GPU with 2 times the graphics power of its predecessor. That's a big leap in performance. The M1 also includes 8 gigabytes of RAM, which means that the new 5th gen iPad Air has twice the RAM compared to 4 gigabytes in the 4th generation model. One other bonus that's afforded by the M1 is that the USB-C connector on the bottom of the iPad Air is now twice as fast, supporting speeds up to 10 gigabits per second, up from 5 gigabits per second on the previous model. It's not as fast as the Thunderbolt and USB 4 support on the iPad Pro, but it is still a nice speed increase. Next, there's the front camera. With this update, the iPad Air becomes the last iPad in the lineup to be updated with a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera with center stage support, which is up from the 7 megapixels of the previous Air. Center stage is the feature where the camera will make sure to center in on your face if you're in a FaceTime or supported video call. And as you move around, the camera will follow you. If other people enter the frame, the camera will zoom out to perfectly fit them into the scene. And then if they leave, it'll zoom back in on just you. This is an amazing iPad feature that Apple is also bringing to its new Studio display. I'll have a video on that soon, so be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that one, along with the new Mac Studio. Now, the next big change to the iPad Air is the inclusion of 5G. To be clear, the base models are Wi-Fi only, so if you want a cellular model, there is an additional cost. But if you do pick up a cellular model, then you're getting an iPad Air that's 5G capable. Now, one difference here when compared to the iPad Pro is that the iPad Air, like the iPad mini and iPhone SE, supports sub-6 gigahertz 5G as well as C-band 5G, but it doesn't support the much faster millimeter wave version. I don't personally think that's a big deal, and millimeter wave is much harder to find, and when you do connect to it, it can be a big drain on your battery. That said, if you're on the go with a cellular iPad Air, you'll still enjoy higher quality video streaming, lower latency multiplayer, and faster upload and download speeds when you're on a solid 5G connection. Okay, so those are the major changes, but what else should you consider when comparing an iPad Air to an iPad Pro? Specifically talking about the 11-inch iPad Pro in this scenario. It's a good question. Now that the M1 is included here, it blurs the line even further. The iPad Air is just as powerful as all but the highest end iPad Pro models that have 16 gigabytes of RAM. That is actually really impressive for the Air. That said, these are the differences you'll want to consider. The iPad Pro has a liquid Retina XDR display with ProMotion. That means you get more colors, more contrast, more brightness, and an adaptive 120 Hz refresh rate with that laminated display. As I mentioned, the USB-C port on the iPad Pro supports faster Thunderbolt devices, and it also can be configured with up to 2 terabytes of storage, while the iPad Air tops out at 256 gigs. You get dual rear cameras on the iPad Pro, and both models have a 12 megapixel wide camera lens, but the Pro has an additional 10 megapixel ultra wide as well as a LiDAR scanner. The iPad Pro has Face ID and the True Depth camera, which means it can also do portrait mode photography, and it also has 4 speakers for amazing audio, while the Air has stereo audio when in landscape mode only. Last, the iPad Air starts at $599 for 64 gigabytes, while the 11-inch Pro starts at $799 for 128 gigabytes. For me, the iPad Pro is the iPad Premium. Everything on the list I just went through are nice to have features that make the iPad Pro Apple's best tablet. But if you just want a great iPad with just as much power as the iPad Pro without all the extra niceties, then the iPad Air is the one you should be looking at. It's the iPad Pro for the non-pro user, in my opinion. Let me know what you think. Are you picking up the new iPad Air, or are you more of an iPad Pro user, iPad mini, standard iPad, etc.? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll meet you there for further discussion. Thanks for watching as always, guys. I appreciate your support. I'm Andrew Webbers, and I will catch you in the next video.